Hello, amazing, beautiful people. I am so excited to be here once again and sharing with you some more wisdom and insight from what I believe actually is probably one of the hardest topics to really discuss and get into grips of. And that's about the truth. What is the truth? Now, I love the fact that when it's the truth, we build castles. We build things, we're growing things, we're learning, we're outward looking. When it's a lie, we're building graves. And so often it is taking us down. It's not lifting us and building, it's taking down. So for me, I look through the lens of, is it bringing life? Is it growing? Is it a win-win-win? Or is it not so much? Is it doing something else for us? And I love the quotes. There's a couple of quotes I just want to share with you. One is all progress starts by telling the truth, which is comes from Dan Sullivan. He's the #1 strategic coach in the world. He teaches all of the top entrepreneurs. And one of the things that he has noticed in his work, and I see a synergy in my work, is where somewhere along the line, we have been programmed to think that we should know it all, that we're completely right and everybody else might be wrong. That we, somewhere in our culture, in our education, or whatever it might be, we think we have to have all the answers. And that is so unhelpful, because if we think we know it all, and if we think we've got all the answers, or we have to know all the answers, like we have to somehow, I'm in charge of my life and I should know everything. I should be absolutely sorted. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm perfect. What the fuck? Just quietly. At the end of the day, every single one of us have got fears or trigger cycles or things that are unhelpful, stuff that's happened in our lives, people who've been unkind, things that have happened that we didn't want to happen. So we've all got stuff that masks the truth. But what we don't always do is say, we're not always open and humble and vulnerable around what's really real. Now, this week alone, in fact, this morning, my husband and I had a bit of a moment on Monday night where we barked at each other and were unkind because we were under pressure and all the other stuff that happens. And I was like, well, you don't do this and you don't do that, going into that yucky, bouncing trigger cycle that's unhelpful. Oh, that's right. That's the death thing. Yeah, that's right. Building a grave, unhelpful. And it's taken me a few days to unpack and work it through. But the joy of it was actually speaking to some people, getting some wisdom, being honest, being open, being vulnerable. This is what I did. This is what I was like. I don't want to go there again. And that has unpacked it and allowed me to flip it into what is true, what is noble, what is right, what is excellent, what is praiseworthy. If anything is good and admirable, that's where we should be focusing. I was focusing on the problem and the yuck and which is unhelpful. We need to be focusing on the truth. And the other thing that John says is, when you know the truth will set you free. I stand here today free to know that, yes, I made some mistakes. Yes, I said some unkind words, but I've worked through them and I've worked out what it was, what that trigger was. I was going down old patterns of behavior that were taking me down something that was unhelpful. And so the truth is often being truthful with yourself and listening to your emotions, listening to your words, listening to and seeing what you're actually doing. Is what you see and listen and say and do building castles or building graves? And I love the fact, this is a quote actually from Ronald Reagan, and I'm going to read it because otherwise I'll stuff it up. Americans, and I think it's not just for Americans, I think all of us sit in this space, yearn to explore life's deepest truths. He went on to say, within the covers of one single book, which is the Bible, all the answers to all of the problems that we face today and have faced for the last 2,000 years are actually in there. All of the problems and all of the solutions, if we just read and believe. Now, I stand here not as a preacher, not as a, oh, I go to church and all this, that, and the other, because I do, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to share the wisdom. I have been following Tony Robbins, hanging out with Mel Robbins, hanging out with Dean Graziosi, hanging out with some really incredible people. Zig Ziglar, all of these guys, Dan Sullivan, all of them. Guess where they get their information from? That same book. Every single thing is based because that is the ultimate truth. Truth without love is awful. It's unkind. And love without truth is unhelpful as well. We have to have the two together. But it's so important that we understand what truth really is. And another quote that I also got, this is a crack up, this Winston Churchill, I quite like him. I think it must be the English in me. I think he was very clever. Obviously, he was clever. He helped England get out of that flippin' war and sort Hitler out. So he was quite clever, just quietly. But he says, men occasionally stumble over the truth, but most of them pick themselves up and hurry along as if nothing's happened. Holy moly! How many times? Because we want to be seen as perfect. We want to be seen as beautiful. We want to be seen as no blemishes. I love the fact that I come in, here I am in my tennis gear doing my video. Like, this is real. This is real life. This is me sharing my wisdom and insight in the space I'm in today. But the real truth is in a year's time, I'll see it differently. In 10 minutes' time, I might see it differently, because we should be evolving and learning and growing. And the reason that I'm doing this lot for free is because I want you to stand on my shoulders and go further than I do. I want my ceiling to be your floor so that you can start to open doors and be your brilliance and look for the truth and look for the kindness and look for the honor and look for the respect in what you do. Because if we can get some of these core values, truth, honor, love, trust, if we can get this stuff as our foundation to stand on, we will be an unbelievable group of people, an unbelievable culture. We'll have an unbelievable world to live in. Because instead of competing and fighting with each other and trying to be, oh, I want to be, that person's got this and I want that. And instead of all of that, we'll just be who we are. We'll just run in the lane, the truth of the lane that we're called to be in. I would be a useless accountant. I'm actually pretty rubbish, generally speaking, at sport. Partly because I haven't given myself the opportunity. But also, I'm like 50 plus. So me taking up hockey now probably wouldn't be fantastic. But my kids are great. And I love that. And my lane is to grow people. That's all I need to do, is inspire and fire up and get people moving. I had the most amazing email today from a gorgeous life coach who's just launching her business. She's working with me. She's been with me a few months. And you know what? Her workbooks make mine look like Mickey Mouse. Brilliant. That's exactly what it should be. She has nailed it for her people that she's going to talk to 110%. That brings me gold. And the truth is that she is standing on my shoulders and she will go further than I do. Bring it on, I say. So what's your truth? I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear what you say. I'd love to hear what you think. Because all progress starts with telling the truth. Thank you, Dan Sullivan. And then when you know the truth will set you free. And it's time for us to be free. Freedom is one of my 4 pillars. So we've got love, insight, freedom, and engagement. And engagement is all about relationship. It's all about connecting. So please, I encourage you, fill my love bucket up, which is my life pillars, and engage with me. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you learned. Did it help? Has it made you think again? And what's your truth? Have an amazing God bless day. Thank you for being with us.